Okay, so ready to roll. So why would you go outside? Why would you birthday? So once again, thank you for joining us on our Thursday session. I was going to talk about two things. Well, one thing, but I think there's something else that I'd like to bring to the surface today. The first is, what do we see? What do we consider grace to be? Blessings to be. What would you consider a blessing to be? Would you consider blessing to be, frankly, it's a sunny day? Or would you say the blessing is um, when you have your first cigarette and you start coughing? Which one of those is a blessing? Yeah. And once we begin to notice how blessings manifest themselves, you always notice they always begin with suffering. Always. It's the nature of life. It has to be something that has brought you discomfort, physical, mental, emotional, existential, doesn't matter. One of those things will bring you to a state where you will start feeling discomfort. So it's like having your first cigarette. You have your first cigarette and you cough. That's like existence saying to you, stop that. But you think, no, I enjoyed that. And you continue. And now you can't walk as fast. So your friends have to slow down. And existence says, stop that. But life is good. So you think, okay, you continue. And now you can't climb up the stairs. And existence is now telling you, please stop. But you think, no, I don't see this as existence telling me something. I just see this as symptom of life. And then one day you find yourself in a hospital bed. And existence says, now will you listen? Now will you listen? And we always find that it is suffering that brings us to a point where we seek the answer, whatever it may be. Yeah, whatever it may be. So, for example, a very dear friend of ours was diagnosed with cancer and given 6 weeks to live. And so she wasn't a friend of ours at the time. Anyway, so she came to see us and she said to me, I asked her, of course, cancer is cancer. She said, the problem is, I'm afraid to die. Now, that's one inevitability you can't get out of. So we thought, all right, okay, we'll see what we can do and how we can work with this. And we began to work with her. And she survived for about 9 months. She retreats with us, one in Spain. And 2 days before she passed away, she wrote me a card and said, thank you very much for introducing X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to go. And thank you because it's helped my children so much. But that existential crisis not just served her, but it served her children. Yeah. So how suffering becomes grace if you look at it with a wider picture, with a wider lens. But what we are brought into a life is that we must avoid it. We must avoid it. And if we go through suffering, there's something wrong with you. That's your problem. So, like, for example, anxiety. First, you medicalize it, you give it a name. So, we give that a name, and you say, okay, if you're feeling like this, it's called anxiety, and this anxiety is an illness. There isn't a person in on this earth that does not feel anxious because it's a feedback mechanism. Pain is a feedback mechanism. Suffering is a feedback mechanism. If you feel distressed in any way, something's telling you to look at something. That's all it is. Nothing's wrong with you. You just need to open that lens a bit wider. So if you feel anxious before a test, it tells you, have you revised? Have you prepared enough? Or for an interview, do you feel? Do you feel nervous? If you feel nervous, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It simply means it's the body's way of adjusting itself so you're alert. Because when you're anxious, you become alert. Yeah? So, but rather than looking at it for what it is, the general kind of worldview out there is that we must prevent suffering, no matter what it is, no matter what it is. Which then brings me to this very interesting point that we saw this weekend: the hypocrisy of morality. The hypocrisy of morality. You know, we say we must have a moral space. Morality is normally culture led. It's what the culture believes it to be moral. Right? Now, we would assume that a civilized culture, because the moment I call myself civilized, it means you're not. Yeah, that's how the game works. The moment I call myself developed, means you're not. Right? So that's how we become developed countries, developing countries, and underdeveloped countries. You just categorize them. Whoever puts the category together then puts them in that place. So you had a, at Glastonbury someone making a comment to dismantle a machine that's barbaric at every level, at every level, irrespective. Continuous lies, continuous hiding behind the same nonsense, yet unable to be questioned because of their barbarism. And the victims of this barbarism is in our lifetime. We're watching it. We're watching it every day. And in watching it, there's a hypocrisy that we have moral outrage because someone uttered a few words to dismantle a machine that's barbaric, rather than the barbarism carried out by the machine. This creates dissonance. We know what's right. We all know what's right. But the culture forces you to look in different directions and forces you. This is not good for your health. Creates mental distortion. You feel out of sync. It's like, you know, when they change the hours, you feel out of sync for a while because you know what's right. You know what's right from your heart. It's that heart intelligence that awakens, that tells you this is unacceptable. And a few months ago, I started speaking about there's going to come a moment when we as human beings are repulsed by such actions and those who support these actions for whatever cause. It doesn't matter what the cause is. Unacceptable. You know, back in the day when a human being was born, we used to celebrate that a human is born. And now, the life of a human being, not just here, just everywhere, no place is excluded. That is now beginning to be shift. That's the shift we're going to go through over the next 2 or 3 years, which is that which is acceptable and that which is unacceptable, which now brings me to how suffering is grace. Because what we are witnessing is mass suffering. And therefore, we're going to have mass awakening. The shift in consciousness, as hard as it is to see now, as hard as it is to bear now, like when we were unwell, it's hard to bear that. But it's important to ensure that you're able to endure it by remaining in a particular space, by allowing yourself not to be pushed or pulled in all these directions. We are now coming to that space where the worldview is slowly but continuously changing from a space where human life, not just human life, life is valued. And not everything is driven by corruption and money. That's it. The whole thing is just about that. So as the fiat currencies become less and less um, valuable, which is why all the prices are going up because it's collapsing at the moment, you will find things that really become valuable are skills. What you do, what you're able to do. AI can replace a lot of things, but it can't replace human contact. Yeah. And human health requires a number of new ways of looking at ourselves. And one of those extra ways is one, to see that life has both left and right hands. It's got the suffering, and out of suffering comes non suffering, and out of non suffering comes suffering. It's a cycle. You can't have one. But what you can do is adopt a new method of looking at both of them. That both of them will come and both of them will go. The one that you remember is the one that's going to make the change. You never remember good times. You tend to remember bad times, hard times. Why? Because they teach us. They're deeper. You go deeper into yourself. When you're having a good time, you don't know where the time goes. When you're having a bad time expands. Why? Because the mind slows down. Yeah? So, in this new way of looking at life, it's also changing our paradigm. Those things, if enough human beings in their heart of hearts saying, no, this is unacceptable, unacceptable. I can't do much, but I can make my position clear. And in that, we have enough to change the frequency because the whole thing simply works on where our thoughts are. Change your thoughts and you change reality. As are your thoughts, so you become. So, mindfulness, meditation, no longer a luxury, but essential. And making sure that you are in charge of your health. And that which doesn't feel right isn't right. You are the only judge. No one else can make you think any other way. You know what's right for you. It's trusting that inner capacity, awakening the heart, awakening the hirda, awakening our capacity to live a life which has more harmony in it than resistance. But within yourself, allow yourself to make your decision. Where do you stand in this world? Where do you stand? That doesn't mean you support one side or the other. Where do you stand in terms of things that are brought to your focus? Where do you stand? Take hold of your integrity and your sovereignty, because that's what changes the world. Yeah? So, suffering is grace. Don't throw it away. Yeah? Embrace it. Embrace it. Only a few people are graced with real suffering. Yeah? Okay, let's begin with our meditation. So, as usual, we begin with our posture. Straighten your back, pull your shoulders back a little bit, close your eyes, and ideally, you want to close your mouth. But if you can't close your eyes or you find that uncomfortable, then slightly open, looking at the ground around 45 degrees for peripheral vision, not focusing on anything in particular. And you pull your chin in. And as you draw your next breath in, bring your focus to yourself as best as you can. And begin to notice the body, begin to notice what's going on with the body. Yeah, and if you feel any tension, any pain, any aches, see if you can adjust your body to make yourself more comfortable, yet alert. Your intention is simply to become present to what's going on with you. And to do this, let's begin with our sense organs. So bring your focus towards your eyes. And as you hold your focus, notice what's in your field of vision. In other words, what can you see? Is it darkness? Next breath in, bring your focus now towards your ears and begin to listen to what's around you. Just listening. Next breath in, bring your focus beneath your nose. And as the breath moves in, see if there's a fragrance. Then gently moving into your mouth. Notice if there's a taste. And now if you bring your focus above your head, imagine a hula hoop. And as this hoop comes down, it begins to scan your body. Then you begin to sense from the top of your head, moving down, forehead, eyes, slowly moving down, scanning your body for sensation. All the way down. On your next breath in, once again, become aware of the body as best as you can. Notice if there's anything that draws your focus. Next, bringing your focus now to the seat you're on. And from those seats, you'll notice there are sensations where your body makes contact. From those sensations, you move your focus up, and we become aware of our hips. slowly moving down towards our knees. And then from your knees, you allow this awareness to move down towards the ankles, scanning both the front and the back of your legs. Take your time. And then from our ankles, we move to our feet. Notice the soles of your feet. Next breath in, bring your focus back to the seat. This time, notice how well you're held in place. In other words, you can afford to relax and really allow the chair, the seat to hold you. And the ground beneath the seat, beneath you, holding that firmly. Then from your chair, from your seat, notice that the back is straight and upright, and gently move your focus from the lower back to the middle. From your middle back, you move up towards your shoulder blade, back of your neck, and then notice your shoulders. Allow them to soften if you can. And then moving from your shoulders to your elbows, from your elbows to your wrists, notice the palms of your hands. Notice your fingers. And on your next breath in, you bring your focus towards your eyes. And once again, begin to notice what is in your field of awareness. What can you see? Notice that you are in fact awareness. Can't be switched off. It's always peaceful. And it is your fundamental reality. Awareness of what you have in front of you. And then as you breathe out, you allow your eyes to soften. Next breath in, bringing your focus towards your lips. Notice your upper lip. Notice your lower lip. And then as you bring your focus within your mouth, notice the sensations around your mouth, within your mouth. The roof of your mouth. inside cheeks. Notice how you can direct your focus on any part you wish to, moving to your tongue. Allow it to soften. And on your next breath out, you allow your face to soften. Once again, as the breath moves in, you bring your focus to your body as best as you can. And again, just notice what's going on with your physical body. And then gently bring your focus beneath your nose. And now begin to watch your breath. Allow the breath to breathe by itself. Notice what happens to the breath when you allow it to breathe by itself. No control. Allow your out breath to go as far as it can. No restriction. Notice how the breath breathes by itself. Stay with your breath. On your next breath in, you're going to bring your focus to your inner space. How you feel within yourself and what's on your mind. Notice if your mind's occupied with anything. Do you feel drowsy or can you focus? Next, you can bring your focus to your chest and begin to notice the movement of your chest with your breath. Notice how the chest expands as you breathe in or as the breath comes in, and how the chest relaxes as the breath moves out, allowing the breath to breathe by itself. holding your focus at your chest. Noticing how the body functions automatically by itself, allowing it to find its own rhythm, holding your focus at your chest. And now, if you move your focus a little bit deeper into yourself, right where your heart is, and you want to hold your focus there. And as you hold your focus there, begin to notice how you feel right this moment. Do you feel peaceful, settled, without discomfort? Or do you feel uncomfortable, unsettled? How do you feel right this moment? On your next breath out, once again open your focus to all the sounds around you and simply begin to listen. Allowing the sounds to come to you, allowing the sound of the bell to move you deeper into the silence. ready, bring your focus beneath your nose and once again begin to watch your breath. Notice if your breath has a sound. Simply open to the sound of your breath as it moves in and as it moves out. Begin to notice your experience. How do you feel within yourself? And on your next breath out, once again expanding your focus to include your whole breath, moving from your body, from your breath to your body. And again, notice if there's any discomfort. And then to help ourselves bring our focus back into the body, bring your focus to the seat you're on. Notice the sensations. From those sensations, move your focus up, slowly becoming aware of your hips. And then gently moving down your legs towards your knees, scanning your thighs, from your knees down to your ankles. Notice your feet. And then the soles of your feet. And once again, coming back to your seat. This time you notice the back is straight, upright, arms, hands, comfortable. Your eyes are still closed, your mouth is still closed, and your face is relaxed. Coming back to your breath. And now as the breath moves in, you can sense your body. As the breath moves out, you can sense your body. Breathing in, you sense your body. Breathing out, you sense your body. Breathing in, you feel at peace. Breathing out, you feel at peace. And now, as best as you can, Simply bring the intention to allowing that warmth to spread throughout your body. Grateful for having taken the time out for yourself. When you hear the next bell, use this bell to draw a few slow, deep breaths in, and in your own good time, gently open your eyes. Take your time.